Hey guys, it's Ken's, and for this week's video, I have a DIY. Don't be mistaken by this intro and outro. It's just gonna be a mess because it looks like I'm doing a vlog, but I'm not. I'm doing a DIY. This DIY is about slime, how to make your own slime at home. And I'm sure everybody, well, some people have been seeing this whole craze and stuff. So I'm finally going to be doing a video about this. I make slime a lot, honestly. I just don't like make it a big deal or anything, but I'm going to be showing you guys how to make your own at home. If you are wanting to see these different types of slimes, stick around because that is what we are doing. This is actually, I already made these, but this is what I'm making in the video. So it's basically me making one batch of slime, but I'm making two different types out of the same batch. So I'm gonna like cut it in half and then save some for, this is floam, and this is just regular basic slime, and yeah. So we made a lot. So stay tuned to figure out how to do it. So yeah, let's get on with the video. So for the supplies that you will need for this particular slime, here are all of the ingredients basically that you will need. So yeah, let's get into it. So here we go. First and foremost, you will need glue for your slime. And I am just using some Elmer's white school glue, craft glue, anything like that I know works, but you know, that's just what I have. I have a gallon here. You're not gonna need this whole thing. Basically, all you'll need of this kind of glue is one of the like normal sized ones, but anyways, I have this big one. Next, you're gonna need some stirring utensils, and I'm gonna be using this, but I used to use these popsicle sticks just so I could hurry up and throw them away after I was done, but I'm gonna be using this end of the spatula. Next, you're gonna need a mixing bowl, and I got this from Dollar Tree, so yep. Next, for the slime, you are going to be using some Tide or liquid starch, and I know that some of you guys have already done slime with borax and that type of stuff, but I feel like borax I can never really get to work fully, so I just don't use it. I always use Tide, which liquid starch is basically the same exact thing. Then you will need some lotion, and my lotion here is just Vanilla Bean Noel from Bath & Body Works. I also got this foam soap. You will need some foam soap. Now moving on to optional stuff. I am going to be using for the color acrylic paint, and this is the only type of paint that I know of that you can use to color the slime. Don't use any other type of paint unless it's acrylic. It has to be acrylic. You can also use food coloring. That's also an option. Then I don't really like the scent of all of this stuff mixed together, so what I do is I take my Tide and I take either some essential oils or like candy mixing things, and this one's bubblegum, but I put a mint one in here and I dumped it in there a long time ago, so now all the batches of slime that I make smell extra minty fresh, and I just love that scent. That's definitely optional. Next, we have these foam balls. So if you're not planning on making the foam, you don't need this, but if you want to make the foam, for sure need these. I think you can buy them online. I got mine from Joann Fabrics, just a crafting store. And yep, next I have some extra fine glitter. I also have a bunch of holographic glitter. This kind is just kind of going along with that color of paint. It is turquoise, and this one is gold. So I'm using those, and also you will need containers afterwards to put your slime in. So let's get started. Also, for the slime you will need some water. I don't think I mentioned that, but that's another thing you will need. Now I'm just taking my glue, which I actually had a lot of trouble opening, so it took me a second, but I'm just taking my glue and I'm pouring that into my mixing bowl. Basically, I made about probably 2 regular sized bottles of glue and just poured what I thought amount was right, since I am making a big batch for 2 different types of slimes. Next, I'm just going to be taking that water, not really a certain amount, just putting some water in it, not too much. Now I'm taking some foam soap and I'm putting about 8 to 10 squirts into the glue. So at this point, this is where I am with the slime, and I'm just gonna be adding a couple more ingredients and mixing. As you can see, I'm adding in the paint, which is completely optional, but I did add some color to it. Now I'm just taking some lotion, and I'm not adding too much, just kind of, again, eyeballing that, not really measuring. And so this is the paint I used, acrylic definitely, and I'm gonna be adding some more, and yeah. So now I'm just going to be showing you what all the ingredients in the bowl look like before I start mixing. And now I'm going to be starting to mix all of those ingredients together, and yep. Now I'm going to be doing another optional step. I'm going to be adding in my glitter, and yep, I'm going to be adding quite a bit to this batch because it's quite large, and then I'm gonna mix again. Now that all of that is mixed in, I'm going to be activating my slime now, and I'm going to be using Tide. And I want to make this clear, you guys do not need to put a bunch of amounts of Tide or liquid starch or whatever activator you're using all at once, because you're probably going to end up using way too much if you use that method. Like, I barely used any so far, and it's already congealing into slime, so just kind of go with the flow on it and just make sure it's not too sticky and not too liquidy. And now I'm just going to be adding some more Tide in. Again, you're just going to have to kind of figure out how much you think you need and just go little bit by little bit at a time so you don't overdo it. And just going to be adding some more after you mix. Make sure to thoroughly mix every single time, or maybe even put your fingers in there just to make sure. And yeah, when you think it's ready, you should just be able to take it out. And it also depends on the type of person you are when it comes to slime, like what texture you want. You can definitely tell that my slime is still too sticky, so I'm just gonna go add in some more activator, and hopefully that helps. Make sure not to overdo it, or else it won't feel like actual slime. So just going in with my hands now completely and kneading it kind of like dough. And I'm really looking for a certain consistency here, since I am gonna have to like cut this into 2 different slimes. For the floam, you're gonna want it kind of stickier, but for the regular, it doesn't really matter. If you want, however you want it, just keep it that way. So now that I got it to the perfect consistency for me, I'm gonna be taking this out of the bowl and setting that actually on the counter. Don't worry if it's on a flat surface, it should be able to come off as long as there's like nothing really able for it to stick to. You should be fine on that, but sorry if it doesn't really work out like that. So my slime is pretty awesome so far, and I will be doing poking noises and everything like that at the end. So as you can see, I'm just kind of poking my slime, making sure everything's mixed in, admiring all the glitter and color and just how perfect it turned out. So now that I have my slime all out, I'm going to be taking some containers and going to be splitting this down. You're going to need less slime for your floam because it will expand, but your normal batch, just how it is, keep it how it is. Make sure that one's bigger. You're going to put that in your container and go ahead and mess with your floam until that is perfect. So I left the sound on for this one because the noise is just really satisfying. So as you can see, I'm just taking those foam beads, and you're going to want to put it, either I'm putting it in my mixing bowl or some other container so they don't go everywhere. And you're just going to be taking that part of the slime that you set aside for the floam, that's smaller than your other piece, and grabbing that and just completely setting it into the mixing bowl with all of the foam beads, and it should go ahead and stick to however many it can hold. And I actually had to end up putting more into this bowl, like more of the foam beads, because this slime could hold so many, it was insane. So I went ahead and used the rest of the bag that I had from for the foam beads. I have a bunch of other bags, so it wasn't a big deal for me, but you might want to get a couple extra just in case, because you never know how big the batch is going to turn out. This slime is basically just, it started out so small, and now you know why you need like a tiny amount of actual slime, because the foam beads make it expand and become humongous. So this is how my floam turned out. You will see how the actual basic slime turned out a little bit later. So as you can tell, with the floam you can mold it different ways. I'll be quiet so you can hear the noises. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Make sure to comment down below if you do try this at home and if it works, and just tell me your thoughts, concerns, questions, whatever. I'll try to answer them as quickly as possible. And so yes, I really hope you guys can try this lovely thing at home. Also, I'm thinking about doing another thing that's really popular right now. Is basically, it's called the fidget spinner. If you guys want to see an upcoming video on how to make your own DIY fidget spinner at home with basically just a couple supplies, just let me know in the comments down below. If I don't hear from anybody, I'm probably going to do it anyways because it's fun. I love crafts. Yep. So just make sure to stay tuned for a while. I don't know when that video is going up. Maybe in the next couple weeks. I don't know. So yes, let me know your thoughts, questions, concerns. As always, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and when you subscribe, if you haven't already, push that bell and it will notify you every single time I upload. Well, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Bye!